You're tuned in to Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, a forum where we discuss and explore society-based topics while advocating and providing information and resources to the community through an unscripted, unfiltered, and authentic approach. Listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. Watch us on YouTube. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Voiced Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast, your society-based channel.
Welcome to this special edition of Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. I'm your host, and my name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner. And of course, it's a special edition, so it's on Facebook Live. We'll also have it available on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio. So we have a very special guest with us today, and we're going to be talking about the future and the vision for the city. What city, you may ask? It's going to be Mayfield. So we have our special guest, Johnnie Draffen, who is running for Mayfield City Council. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, so you're in the hot seat today, as usual. You don't have much time left. I've been interviewing various candidates for various seats here in Kentucky, and tomorrow is election day. It's do or die.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel comfortable. I've had a lot of good contacts. I know a lot of people in Mayfield, people in the county limits that considers Mayfield their home, and they've referred me to a lot of their families and friends, and so I feel good. I feel like awesome. Everything's gonna go good.
Well, for those who don't know Johnnie Draffen, I know, of course, you're a pastor of a church. Tell us about your background with your church, with your businesses, and stuff like that.
I pastor a great church here in Paducah, Kentucky. Like I said, I live in Mayfield, but we pastor a church in Paducah, Kentucky, New Life Apostolic Tabernacle. We've been full-time pastor for almost 3 years now. We was assistant pastor for 2 years prior, so we've been in the pastoral role for 4.5 years. And my background is work history. I've been in big industry. I've worked on the river since 2001. Climbed my way up the ladder, if you would, up to a captain in 2005. And then I came into the office as 2019 as a port captain. So I oversee 12 boats, their budgets, moving up down river, their crews, the safety, the compliance, how to get the product moved for our economy. And,
wow.
So I oversee that, and I came into that in 2019. So.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that. What inspired you to run for city council?
Well, I've always talked with my wife and friends and said, man, I'd like to be in politics. I'd like to help, organize the city, the country. I mean, who knows? One day I might be vice president or president. You never know. You never know. And so I've always talked to my wife about it. And then, last year there was a city councilman that got promoted to a job. So he had to step down, and they was actually taking resumes. So I applied for it, and I did not get it. And, but they told me 10 seats was going to come open this year. And so I pursued it. And I think it'd be a great challenge. I think I could bring a godly voice, not saying there's not one on there, but I could bring a godly voice from my background as being a pastor to the city council. But I think I can also bring a background of big industry, and how, the mindset of what I used in my job to keep America moving. If it wasn't for the river, America wouldn't move.
Oh, yes.
The river and the truck and the railroad, that hauls a lot of our products, but the river hauls more of it and more tons of it. And so I think I could bring my experience from that into a city council setting that help Mayfield grow and become the city that it can be.
Absolutely. So a few years ago, Mayfield was impacted by a tornado.
3 years ago this December. Yes.
So, I have a question for you regarding like the development and stuff like that. How do you plan to influence population and business growth for Mayfield?
Well, Danette, 3 years ago, like you said, we were struck by an awful tornado, and it took out most of our downtown district, and it took a lot of our homes in the downtown district. And And so a lot of them businesses either moved out of the city or they just didn't reopen. A lot of the residents, they moved out of the city because there wasn't no homes to rent. Now there has been some homes rebuilt through Samaritan Purse and other organizations, and some of them residents are coming back. But there's not really been much progress in from me looking at it as a citizen. In the past 3 years, our courthouse has just started to rebuild. We had a groundbreaking on the city council. But what are we doing as a community? What are we doing as city councils and mayors and city officials to bring them jobs back? What are we doing to entice, if you would, citizens to move into Mayfield? Is there an incentive? I mean, maybe, you can look around. Paducah has incentives. If you buy a home in the city limits of Paducah, there's other towns around the country that offers incentives, whether it's a tax break on the first 5 years of your property tax, it's a 2% tax break, or whether they give them, so much cash for moving into the town, there's different cities that offers that, different perks that offers that. And, so I think that's where we could start at if Mayfield does not have that. I've looked it up and I can't find it. It's not, so therefore it's not advertised well. If somebody if there's something that's not very advertised, that should be something that's, every realtor should be advertising that, every person that's called a realtor, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Mayfield. What do you offer? This should be advertised. As far as businesses, same thing. I mean, we've got and I'm just exaggerating. We got a bunch of Mexican restaurants. We got a bunch of gas stations. We got a bunch of banks in the area. But where's our industry? What can we bring to Mayfield, into the city limits of Mayfield, that brings workers in from around different parts of the area that hey, they want to settle down? And what are we doing to entice? What kind of perks are we giving these business owners? Says, hey, you come to Mayfield, we're going to give you this tax break to come. Yes, eventually. It's like the old saying goes, Danette, you got to spend money to make money. Yes, the city might have to give a tax break for the first few years, but then you got to look at the long-term effect.
I like that.
That money's going to come back. Them tax incentives are going to wear off and that money's going to come back. And I mean, residents, you can't make a resident sign a contract, right? But if I bring in a multi-million-dollar business into the city limits of Mayfield and the Mayfield's telling me, hey, I'm going to give you a tax break for the first 5 years, maybe a 2% tax break, but you got to guarantee to stay here at least 10 years or you got to pay that tax break back. You can make deals like that with businesses and big industry, but right now, once again, I looked it up and I don't find nothing that offers that to big businesses. So I'm hoping to bring them fresh ideals to the table, to the city council table. Another thing is that I think that we lack in, and I'm talking from a citizen at this point, because as a citizen of Mayfield is, I know that the city council meetings are open to the public, and it's, I think it's the first Monday of each month at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Well, as Americans, we are busy. I mean, I got 3 kids in school. They play softball, they play basketball, they play football for Mayfield, and I work a full-time job, and then I pastor a church also. And so to pin down a 5 o'clock or a 6 o'clock meeting one day a month on a Monday night at that, I mean, that's kind of hard to fit into a busy lifestyle schedule, especially a family man. So if you really want to, the concerns of your citizen on how to grow your city, why not advertise it and say, hey, listen, this Saturday on this month, we're going to come out and we want to hear from our citizens, but don't just do it in one area, do it on the west end of Mayfield, do it on the east end, north end, south end, go to the communities and just hold just a public meeting at a public building and make it on a Saturday, move it around and make it on a Saturday when people is free, the Paducah Police Department, they used our church here one time for that. They was doing neighborhood meetings and they went to each neighborhood in Paducah and done meetings to hear the concerns of the citizen. We as a councilman or a mayor or any city official, the only way we can properly serve our city is by hearing the concerns of the people that put us in that seat. If we don't hear the concerns of it and we're just doing things from our own, then where's their voice? Where's the voice of the people that's going to the ballots tomorrow and marking our names down? Where's their voice?
How do they get a hold of you guys? Right?
Exactly.
It's all about community engagement.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you touched on that. That's been one of the questions I've asked every single candidate that interviewed on season 3 of Voice Thoughts, because it's very important that, the people who are in office are not making those decisions for us, the citizens, without us, the citizens, being a part of that decision. So I'm glad that you are big on community engagement.
Yes, you got to have the communication. And, that's one thing I learned in the industry I worked in. Yes, I work in the office now and I oversee 12 boats, but I cannot do my job in the office without them guys doing their job out on the boats, all the way from the brand new deckhand that we just hired to the most experienced captain. If I didn't have them, then I can't do my job. And the same thing you can use in the city as far as, city members, politics, official members, is that I cannot properly do my job, and I would not be here if it was not for the community of Mayfield. And that's why I'm asking everyone to vote for me, because I want to be your voice. And if it takes me coming to your neighborhood on a Saturday, me alone, and organizing a meeting, that's what we're willing to do to help out the city of Mayfield. Because I see Mayfield has great potential. Hey, we got one of the best football teams in the Class 2A. Just won state championship last year. The year before that, we went to state and just lost by I think it was 1 point we lost by. And then Graves County, just the county that surrounds us, got a great football team. They got great things to offer. We got great schools. We got some of the best schools, a couple private schools in our city. And so Mayfield is a great city. But yes, the tornado took a lot of that away and took a lot of people in our city and businesses out. We need to find a way to bring them back and continue. I don't want to use a generic slang, but make Mayfield great again,
Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your long-term vision for Mayfield?
Just like I was saying, is bringing industry in, bringing citizens back, rebuild the downtown district. Like I said, I know they had a groundbreaking on the city hall just, I believe it was last week, and they had the courthouse, you starting to see it framed up. But what's going to support that city hall? What's going to support that courthouse? We need businesses in there. I know there was a deal on the city council. I actually went to that meeting, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, it seems like. And they was wanting, to make people that lost their businesses tear up all the concrete slabs and bring in, just the cost of thousands of dollars. And they said, this will bring in businesses. Well, you know what? They've had a lot of that done, and we ain't had a business come in that I've seen start rebuilding. The soccer factory came back. I'm glad about that. They're not open yet, but that's one business, but there's still a lot of empty spots in the downtown district. And we need to figure out a way of how we can get people to bring their business back. And we need to find out a way for long term for revenue of the city is how to keep people in Mayfield. So right now you can talk to a lot of people around, and I have, and they leave Mayfield to go to Paducah, or they leave Mayfield to go to Murray to shop or to eat, because we don't have that many options in Mayfield. We got a lot of Mexican restaurants. We got a handful of fast food. We got a great Italian place right there in the Strip. And, but Applebee's, they shut down and they left. Did COVID kill them? I don't know. Did people just not go to this Applebee's? They went to one in Murray or Paducah. We need to find a way to keep them here. We got a lot of great mom and pop clothing stores, we've got some nice florists. We got one of the only Christian bookstores in this area. Paducah don't even have one. We have one in Mayfield. How do we advertise that to people? Hey, Mayfield has this, but how do we also keep our citizens of Mayfield and Graves County shopping local? Once again, is there an incentive, whether you do it every 6 months or whether you do it every year, that, hey, this Saturday, if you are a citizen of Mayfield, you got to show an ID. I know that's not popular in politics right now, but you got to show an ID or a water bill or something, If you are a citizen, this is a tax-free weekend for you. Shop here, shop local, build your localness up. And that's going to build Mayfield up by keeping money into the community.
Into the city, yes. Yeah. I love that. Well, is there anything before we go, for those who are listening, never heard about you and are now interested, how can they find you on the ballot? Is there any other information that you'd like to share before tomorrow?
So I'm number 13 on the ballot. I'm the very last option. There's 10 choices there's 10 seats available. There's 13 choices that you can vote for tomorrow. The old saying is they save the best for last. I am the best. I'm on the last of the ballot. I do have a Facebook page. It's Johnnie Draffen for City Council. I also have a personal Facebook page. I've had one individual already text me today through Facebook Messenger and ask me some of my views on certain situations. And I was able to explain to him clearly about some things. And he said, you won my vote. So don't hesitate to reach out to me tonight through Messenger. Don't hesitate to communicate with me however you got to. And I will answer any question for you. But I would like to be the voice for Mayfield, one of the 10 voices on the city council. And if you want to vote for me, I'm number 13, Johnnie Draffen, on the ballot.
Thank you so much again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with me. And we really do wish you the best on tomorrow's election. Once again, this is Johnnie Draffen for Mayfield City Council. And we just talked about the future and the vision of the city of Mayfield. Once again, you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group as well, Voice Thoughts Talk Show and Podcast. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok. I have been your host. My name is Danette Mahabeer-Turner, and I'll see you on the next episode. God bless you.